Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Creators of the Storm tournament. With me now is DJ Tyrant for game number 2. How you doing, DJ?
I'm good. I was playing that first game, and that was just chaotic as all can be.
Yeah, it really did seem like the strategy was just speed and run at people. And if you weren't the team running at the other team, you just couldn't react in time, and you died. It was pretty interesting. We will be having a slightly different take on it. We will have game 2, Geeks of Gank versus Trollin Blizz coming up. Of course, Trollin Blizz was in the previous game. But in this case, it's not going to be ludicrous speed. It's going to be no supports, and Medivh does count here. So standard mid ban, 2 bans for each team. And I think this is going to be really interesting because Towers of Doom, in a lot of cases with no support games, you can be like, well, what if we just never team fought and we just macroed and pushed buildings down? Like never, ever, ever fought the enemy team. But on Towers of Doom, it's much harder to just push buildings down and win. Although you can, if you get the 6 cap, eventually just win off of that. So what do? Do you go for the team fight? Do you go for heroes that have a lot of self-healing, but then the heroes that have a lot of self-healing tend not to have very good wave clear, like Thrall, and then there's that worry that like, you're gonna get just pushed in. It's gonna be interesting to see what the teams decide to do and if they've even practiced.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this draft turns out, because that'll tell us what teams are really thinking about the no support strategy. Do we know if Zarya is available? Because
Zarya is available because she is a warrior. She's not a support. She's not even like a supporty hero like the way Medivh is. She's just like a bruiser. She does damage. She's available.
Because I feel like if you want to get really aggressive, Tyrael will be really good in this. Sanctification will be so strong.
Well, not only saying Justice for All, his new level 1 talent is basically a task shield on a 10-second cooldown for your entire team. Like, it's not just one person, it's your whole team. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's hugely significant. Really curious. Some interesting storylines actually here going into this game. Last Creators of the Storm tournament, Geeks of Gank and Trollin Blizz met in the quarterfinals. Trollin Blizz won, but there was also a bet. And Geeks of Gank had to read out a script on their next show lamenting how bad they were at HOTS and how great Trollin Blizz was at HOTS. So there's a little bit of animosity here. Geeks of Gank definitely want to get their revenge against Trollin Blizz. So I'm hoping that they prep for this match specifically. They're like, I don't care if we win the rest of the tournament. We just got to beat them at this one game.
Yeah.
And
Bacon, though, he's really good at heroes. So I'm interested to see how the bans play out, maybe targeting what he's strong at, or if they've done their homework against Bacon, just because he is a really strong player on their side. But yeah, like you said, this is gonna be really interesting to see how the drafts turn out and what they decide to go with. Are they going to go with people who have self-sustain, or just really aggressive heroes that you don't have to worry about your health pool? You just blow the other team up and get the objective.
That is true. So just killing people is an option when there's no supports to make those save plays where someone doesn't die. But both teams are ready, so we don't have to speculate. We can just go straight into it. Game 2, Geeks of Gank versus Trollin Blizz on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, and we should be getting in the draft right now as we warp into Towers of Doom. Once again, this is no supports in this draft, and asterisk there that Medivh is being counted as a support in this mode.
It actually is pretty unfair to have a Medivh versus a no support comp. I remember when that was there was a rule in QM where if neither team had a support, where neither team could have a support, if both teams didn't have one, and then people would just 5-man stack Q with Medivh, and then once he got 16, you couldn't win because of reabsorption. It was actually silly. Blizzard did eventually adjust that, but now it's always Tyrant versus Medivh and Tyrant versus Abathur, and I'm not sure it's better.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But we should be getting our first ban in shortly. We did see Maeve banned.
I'm always really concerned. Okay, so apparently there's an audio issue, and Boggs can't hear right now, so he's asking what you should ban. I was going to say, I'm really concerned when people take a really long time on the first ban, because it means that they came in without a plan. And generally, if you come in without a plan, you're like, especially in a situation like this, they do end up banning the Genji. I'm actually Genji without a support is very fragile. Like he has very little health. He can't go in and out, but he doesn't actually recover health. So once he's chunked, he's chunked, and he has to stay out, or because he comes back in, he's just gonna die.
Stay out or wait for deflect to come up. But yeah, Malthael, I really like that ban. Even with the nerfs, I feel like he still has a pretty good self-sustain, or pretty decent self-sustain.
Well, and if you can't heal, Last Rites is very good. Because as soon as someone's low, they're dead, and that's gonna get the cooldown on that's gonna get shorter and shorter and shorter as it secures kills. And the level 20 upgrade actually heals him for so much that it becomes and at that point it's like a 15-second cooldown. It's impossible, like absolutely impossible to deal with him. Chromie picked up, and I was curious if we're gonna see this. So we're gonna see a heavy ranged emphasis from Geeks of Gank. Heroes that stand really far back and do a lot of burst damage are in no danger of dying, but they can easily secure kills and poke. And
we do see that Tyrael, yeah. Tyrael, we were kind of expecting and speculating in the start of, or right before the draft, but Geeks of Gank, they grabbed the Li Ming as well. So the trend continues on these ranged DPS, trying to just chunk the enemy down as much as possible. What happens if you have all range, though? How do you go in on that?
You don't. Actually, an all range comp might not be the worst thing in the world, especially if they're really long range. So let's say you have Chromie, you have Asmodan, you have Abathur, right? Because he doesn't have a body on the map, so you can't even attack him. He also Abathur has the highest sustained healing of any non-support with his heal build. So we didn't even talk about that, but we even saw Dignitas run solo support Abathur in a professional HCC game on Sky Temple.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, Abathur is very much a possibility here. And we're going to see Arthas Kael'thas come out. Wow, that's so much firepower from the backline.
Arthas has a lot of self-healing, so I kind of understand the plan there, but he's also extremely immobile. And I'm just concerned that he's going to get chunked. Kael'thas also, I mean, once he has his Arcane Barrier quest level 1 finish, he does have a temporary shield, but he doesn't really have any self-healing. He has to get pretty close to do his damage, unless you get to level 20 and you get that increased range on Flame Strike.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this Arthas turns out with so much emphasis on these ranged DPS, as we do see Sonya get banned out by Geeks of Gank. Just wanting to keep another self-sustaining frontliner away, as Tahaka gets banned as well. That's another warrior that has good self-sustain.
Yeah, the Haka essentially can have up to 3 health bars in a fight with the right talents because he has adaptation. And then 20, he actually has Essence Claw, so every time he hits, he gets 10 Essence, which is essentially like a few hundred health. And he can just constantly be healing himself as long as he's autoing someone, but then you kind of have to have someone to auto. And if he had been 5 range, that wouldn't even have been a thing. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Orb build Li Ming here. Generally speaking, Orb build Li Ming is not considered competitively viable. We see Vala and Blaze instead. I'm sure that's going to be Q build Vala for the self-heal on Q at 13. Gives her a lot of self-healing, but she's so fragile. Vala was a hero that wasn't considered viable in pro play unless she had 2 supports. Now she has none.
Yeah, that's going to be fun for this Vala player, but Blaze is really interesting here. He does a really good job body blocking, and if you are able to rotate well on some of these backliners, he really presents the opportunity to get those ganks early on if someone is playing too aggressively far forward.
And Blaze also has Bunker, which can act as a save mechanic, the same way you would normally expect a support to be able to make a save. And he has a lot of wave clear, and wave clear can be important in games like this because you just need to back up. I'm actually surprised. I don't think that the teams put as much thought into this as maybe we expected them to, because they're finally Abathur, Zarya. So I feel like those should have been picked up so much earlier. Abathur, Zarya, Tyrael, and even ETC. Progrock ETC is 2/3 of a Brightwing, and Brightwing is a support, right? You have to clump around them, so area damage is a little bit scary, but I would have expected more. But then we see the Abathur and the Zarya. I'm much happier with Trollin Blizz's draft on the right.
Yeah, I'm scared of this Abathur and what he's going to be able to provide for the team fights and for the shielding, obviously, as well. And we'll have to see who they decide to clone. I mean, they could go with cloning Arthas to really stuff up that front line and protect the back line during some of these team fights, or if they're going for the damage, getting either the Chromie or Kael'thas cloned.
I feel like you could even clone the Zarya and be reasonably happy about it, like getting the double shields.
Double shields, yeah.
The hard thing is that Zarya without energy is bad. She sucks as a hero. Oh, Zeratul. Zeratul does have self-healing at both 13 and 20. Mending strikes on his autos, and then his 20 talent, all his ability damage heals him. I think his level 20 may actually be bugged right now. I don't know if they fixed that in the balance patch. I didn't actually pay attention to the bug fix notes, so maybe it's fine. But that's interesting draft from both teams. I definitely feel like Troll and Blizz had a far better understanding of what makes a strong no support game.
Yeah, I definitely agree as well. Both teams going with the ranged poke to really bulk up their damage. And what was interesting was there was a lot of melee DPS banned out. There was the Thrall ban, there was the Sonya ban as well.
Well, the Sonya ban makes sense to me because she does have so much self-stun if you can't stun her out, and they only have Blaze for stuns with that Tyrael pickup.
But Towers of Doom can be, like you said at the beginning of our draft, is going to be interesting because you're forced to team fight on this battleground. You can't avoid it.
I mean, you're not forced to team fight.
Yeah,
the objective,
true,
the objective itself doesn't give experience. If you were to get all 6 buildings and lose every altar, you would win that game. Like in a good majority of cases, there's even a strat. It never got shown in HCC, but ADRD's old team used to run Asmo comps on Towers of Doom, and they would just run like Asmo Tyrant, old Malf with his increased range, Elun's Grace at 4, and they would just delay altars forever, and Asmo would eventually push buildings down. We saw something very similar attempted by Tempo Storm against Fnatic at Western Clash, but because Fnatic had so much familiarity playing against that strat when it was executed by ADRD's team, they knew exactly how to respond to it, and we had the very first 40-0 ever in professional game on Towers of Doom.
Oh my gosh,
but
yeah.
on the left-hand side of the map, we do have Geeks of Gank, we have Bacon on Blizz, Scott on Zeratul, Fringe of Average on Tyrael, Tarly on Bala, and Sleepy Gary on Li Ming.
And on the right side, we do have Troll and Blizz. We have Mystic Shroud playing the Kael'thas, Razai on Abathur, G-Waz on Arthas, Aelbeard playing the Chromie, and Bags on Zarya.
I mean, we're going to see a very unusual talent picked up at level 1 for Kael'thas, something we don't normally see, but this is going to be Fel Infusion. Every time he uses his trait, he gets 4% spell power on his next activation of an ability, and he gets 98 health, which does continue to scale. So if he constantly spams his trait, he actually will have some self-sustain in lane.
Yeah, he absolutely will. And Kael'thas took quite a bit of damage to start the game off. He's already going to have to go tap the well to start things. But we do have a gank potentially on the bottom lane. Zarya in a little bit of trouble, does get hatted, as well as the self-shield. And actually is going to be able to turn it around a little bit on Zeratul, getting very close to being killed.
Yeah, Zeratul did get a buff to his early game damage, rebalanced his power spikes a little bit, so he's a little bit more threatening, but in the early game, Zeratul just simply doesn't usually do that much damage. I'm very surprised to see Zarya alone. Zarya is literally half as strong when she's alone. It's a really bad idea to ever have Zarya be by herself, and I'm curious if they practiced this or if they just like theory crafted, oh yeah, Zarya will be good, but then didn't think about how they're going to play with it.
Based on our draft in game 1, it's just a lot of theory crafting.
Like even just Chromie being down there to help poke with the Zarya, and then having Kael'thas be the wave clear. We are going to see the gank onto Kael'thas here. Lives with 25 health.
And Zeratul gets killed by the tower shot. So, wow, that was the razor's edge right there for Mystic Shroud, but able to walk away unscathed and get first blood for the Troll and Blizz.
This is going to be a really interesting game overall. We're seeing Abathur hat and heal people as frequently as possible. Once he has level 4, he will be able to hat and unhat, and the heal will stay, so he can do it every 4 seconds, and he should just be spamming that on anyone who's low, trying to keep everyone. The biggest thing about supports, people focus on how important supports are in terms of team fights and that playmaking potential of, oh yeah, someone on your team is going to die, but now they're not, and you can turn the fight. But supports actually sustain in lane so much, and they allow you to stay on the map and constantly be pushing. If you have to back every 30 seconds, that's much worse than if you could just stay there. Supports are force multipliers, and Abathur with that heal every time, he actually doesn't go for the level 4. He goes for prolific over the stay on the heal. He won't be able to just spam it every 4 seconds to maximize that healing output. That's such a bad decision in my opinion.
It's a weird decision with no supports, and we do see mana tap as well for Kael'thas, so gain double value out of the Verdant Spheres. But we do have our triple altar phase starting things off. Arthas a little bit alone, but able to push away the Li Ming. And now we see the convergence on the right side of the map here. But we do see an engagement here. Tyrael is in a bit of a trouble. Li Ming does get taken out. And they don't get Tyrael. Really close, though.
Tyrael does manage to sort out at the very last second. Chromie dies in the back line. And just a little bit of a split there, but the time trap will actually catch Bacon. He was going for that interrupt, but it will allow them to secure that first altar. Bacon takes some amount of damage there from the Kael'thas combo, but not enough to finish him off without the Chromie burst to follow up. And despite having a minor deficit of experience, we are seeing Trollin Blizz come out ahead on shots after that first altar phase.
Yeah, they're ahead in shots. They're going to start taking over the lane presence here in the bottom lane. As they pick up this Sapper camp and have Abathur pushing this lane. Oh, Zeratul has to be a little bit careful here as he's low, going against that hatted minion there. But is able to back off and clear this lane with the help of Tyrael rotating down.
This is going to be level 7 picked up. And this is something that you always have to be concerned about. I think Troll and Blizz, despite the fact that they are a little bit behind in terms of shots, they're ahead in experience, and if they can win like team fights definitively at any point, the Tyrael with Justice for All is going to allow them to siege with their minions. You can see even right there, it took a lot longer to clear the wave because he shielded the wave, and it's going to allow them to push in. They actually, in many ways, have better siege potential, but as long as Chain Gums keep spreading, none of that's going to matter. Zeratul does end up going down again.
Yeah, they get the kill on to the Zeratul. But also, interestingly enough, we had speculated that maybe the Li Ming would go with the Orb build. It doesn't look like they're necessarily doing that. They're going very aggressive, picking up Calamity at level 7.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Astral Presence with that build. I thought they were going to go Orb and then chuck Orbs constantly, and that's why the Astral Presence. But instead they're going to go Dominance for the health on kill, which makes sense. But going Calamity means you have to blink in. It puts you at a lot of risk, but I would have expected to see Power Hungry on this map if you were going to go for that style of play, because Power Hungry gives you mana and damage, and you really just need to max out damage if that's what you're trying to go for. You're depending on kills to keep you alive as opposed to range to keep you alive. Oof. Arthas will get isolated and picked off in the bush, and Boggs may end up going down as well. He will have his self-shield in a moment, and Tyrael almost goes down to Chromie combo, but just barely manages to sword away in time.
Yeah, and with no support here, Geeks of Gank have to be careful about how they engage on this. Actually, they are sending both Bacon and Fringe Average back to heal. Bacon just tapping the well. They do get those shots, though, so that evens it up 32-32. We have a close game on our hands.
We do. Oh, it's going to be the Chrono Loop onto Bacon that does secure a kill.
Oh.
No cleanse effects. In fact, the only cleanse effect that would have worked is Bunker if they'd been level 10, so they're going to need to save Bunker for Loop. They also could have potentially done something like a Garrosh and used Into the Fray to counter Loop. That is possible. It does give you some unstoppable frames, but it's very difficult to time. And other than that, they just don't really have any options. So they're going to have to save Bunker for it in this case.
Yeah, it looks like they will be able to hit level 10 a little bit early, and I'm interested to see if they try to take advantage of that small window of opportunity or not. But we are going to have, since Blizzard updated this, we can see that the next altars are going to be both up top. I do like this camp pickup by Geeks of Gank. Add that pressure to the top lane before our next objective phase. And oh, that timing was basically perfect.
Yeah, both teams, it looks like, are going to hit level 10 at roughly the same time, so we're not going to have any time for Geeks of Gank to have any sort of advantage. It is going to be the bunker pickup in point of fact, and we're going to see Strafe and Wave of Force as well. Everyone else hiding their rogues. Might have an Arazim, so not going to see Void Prison potentially for any splits of fights, and we're going to see standard pickups across the board for the other team. It's going to be Expulsion Zone, Loop, Army of the Dead, Ultimate Evolution, and of course Phoenix for that poke damage. Tyrael's the only one who's a little bit ambivalent. You know, it is going to be Sanctification, not going to see any sort of judgment shenanigans this go around.
We do see the Geeks of Gank trying to engage here on the right side of the altar, and they do lose Zeratul, but so many of the red team are low right now, and both are just getting death all around. Oh, this is going to be huge trait value. Aelbeard's in so much trouble. They get Kael'thas. They almost get Aelbeard. Aelbeard able to use his short legs to waddle away.
That ends up being a 3-for-3, which is actually in the favor of the Abathur comp because the Abathur has been soaking experience bottom that entire time. He's starting to get the pressure on. Bacon lives with 36 health, and he does get the his self-heal in his W on fire going. That fight was incredibly close. Beautiful Expulsion Zone onto Zeratul to start that fight. They get the pick instantly, and they should have been able to win the 5v4, but really good damage to Li Ming came through, started giving her the resets, and ended up being very even.
Yeah, really even fight from both teams, and that basically evens up the XP as well, which has been close this entire game for the most part. We're going to see our Troll and Blizz going to try to invade on this camp. It does look like they are not going to do so. Zeratul pushing off the Zarya in the bottom lane a little bit, and Abathur just continuing to soak in the top lane.
Every time this Zarya is alone, I'm a little triggered. She's been alone a lot. We are going to see a gank attempt top here with Chromie and Arthas, and he does not get the body block, so Bacon actually does get the E out. Unfortunately, that's how you want to gank a Blaze. You want someone behind him so that if he tries to E away, you get stunned, but he doesn't get any extra distance created. Bunker was available, so they opted not to waste the loop there, and now they're going to rotate back to mid. Abathur can hold down that top lane. I'm curious to see if we'll see the loop here onto Li Ming. She was in range briefly there. They opt not to do it. They're saving it for a more important time rather than just going for the constant kill pressure.
Yeah, and they're having to clear out bottom as well. They burned Phoenix there to help clear out that wave along with the Sapper camp. And now we only have one altar here. Bacon, a really big engage here on the bottom. And oh, Bags just takes a ton of damage. The suppression pulse though does come out, and they are continuing to fight here. Bunker gets dropped as well. Zarya does fall first, and that Tyrael shield is allowing them to stay in this fight and continue this pressure. They might get 2 more, if not 3.
But Tyrael does finally end up going down, and we are going to see trait value as he does take down the Arthas. Tarly may actually die to the ghouls here. Oh, they actually have to get Wave of Force away. Beautiful save there, beautiful peel of the Arthas ghouls, and that ends up being a 3-for-none trade. And this is the danger of being aggressive with your position like that. If you just face check an area that has a bush, you can just die. They really needed Zarya to be there to toss grenades there first, or Arthas to walk in first, and just a really clean engage by Geeks of Gank, living up to their name.
Yeah, now they're able to add this pressure into the bottom lane. The camp is going to get cleaned up pretty easily here by the Zarya Kael'thas combo, but the pressure is there from Sleepy Gary, able to just poke away. And I really would have liked to have seen that orb build though from Li Ming, because that would just be even more pressure in this bottom lane, I feel.
Yeah, unfortunately it was not to be the case, and I really do think that Troll and Blizz has a better draft, but they just haven't played it or talented it correctly. And as a result of the better game sense, Geeks of Gank is just managing to stay ahead. They've been a little bit ahead in experience. They're now even in kills. Even when they were behind in kills, they were ahead in experience. And ever since the first altar, except for the first altar phase, they've been better about getting shots.
Zarya has to use Expulsion Zone to try to escape, but does get shielded by the self shield, and the Abathur is able to walk away. But that burns heroic on the side of Troll and Blizz.
It's Expulsion Zone. It'll be back up. Expulsion Zone is basically a basic ability. It comes back so quickly. There was a little bit of a skirmish top as well, but no one ended up getting taken down. And we're going to see a 3-man bush here. If they get the... I don't know where that Chromie combo went, but man, if that Chromie combo had actually been on the Tyrael, he would be dead. We're going to see an early clone on the Kael'thas. Kael'thas is a really interesting clone with the way Chain Bomb does work, because you can't have two poisons from from the same hero on the same target. And it doesn't explode anymore. They're going to see another expulsion zone. It was back up. Tyrael ends up going down, does not get in the bunker. Get in the chopper! But no. And they will disengage after getting that one kill. Abathur will get the right channel. They get the left channel. They do give up bottom, but that's a reasonable trade for them. They're now 16 to 15. They just need to soak. They don't want to fight down Talontiers, and there's nothing. Thankfully, they managed to win that fight, so there's nothing to fight over.
Yeah, and Geeks again grabbing that bottom tower puts them up 26-15 now in core health. And we're going to see Kael'thas try to clear this out, but he might be getting ganked on by the Zeratul. Zeratul does go in, he does get lifted up, but is able to back away with that blink. And Arthas is in a little bit of trouble, able to walk behind the safety of those, I don't even know what they're called, the keep towers, basically, I guess.
As far as I know, everyone calls it the death zone, but I don't actually know what those towers are. They look like some sort of ghosts that just shoot spectral bullets. I am not exactly clear. Quick update on sustain stats. Abathur nearing 10k healing, shielding. Zarya at 13k. I would expect those numbers to be much higher. Even in the Dignitas game, the game was very short. Abathur was getting up to 20k healing, but again, it was with the other build where you could hat and unhat every 4 seconds for the full regen value.
Yeah, and the Abathur is just getting so much soak. We do see him with 8,300.
Oh, that was not the play. Bacon goes in for the kill, but actually does bait the Kael'thas into eating an orb and goes down. So in exchange for bunker, they get a kill onto the Kael'thas, and they've secured. Securing this bottom tower is the most important thing on towers to do in many ways. Once you've secured it, if you can sit on it and never let the opponent take it, you have an advantage for all of the bottom fights. But they are going to give it up here, and it looks like Trollin Blizz will be able to take it back.
Yeah, they will be able to even up the towers here, but they're going to have a hard time engaging onto these altars for the objective. This should be 8 going in the favor of Geeks Gank, putting them even further ahead in this game.
Yeah, only 5 shots needed now to end the game. Boss represents 4 and can be taken anytime they have an advantage. And if they hadn't given up bottom for free here, actually, this Sapper camp and then the next one coming up and momentarily would actually represent a chance to end the game. Zarya ends up going down. Bunker getting so much value here, but does go down. And we are going to see the Chromie combo come down and both people come out. But Arthas goes down. Beautiful Sanct.
Yeah, that Sync was able to keep them completely alive in this fight and be able to walk away from this relatively unscathed. And I expect they're making a beeline to this boss to be able to get that killing blow in the back of the minds of Trollin Blizz, because they'll have to worry about every single siege camp going forward now.
I think they're actually, that's just Vala catching that top soak. She wants to make sure that lane stays pushed out because she doesn't want the threat of the Abathur. Abathur did go 16 locusts, so he does have 3 additional locusts on a short cooldown to get that lane pressure up. And I think they're trying to win the late game pressure eventually, but they're just in such a bad position to do that at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Trollin Blizz to start getting back in this game, but he'll be in a little bit of trouble. He's able to...
Chromie went out really far there. That was very scary, but does have the ice block, does not get caught, and only 33 quest stacks for Chromie so far, 35 now. And Chromie is not yet finished and gotten that essentially double damage on it, and they lose bottom tower again. So this is now game if they don't get this altar.
Yeah, a really beautifully placed Phoenix with so much damage goes out.
Arthas died for their sins, but that is going to be a 4-man kill.
Oh, wow.
That flame strike did so much damage. Everyone got hit by both pulses. And Scott tries to go in for the gank, but he will end up going down. Maybe it's going to be so close. 42 health.
Able to walk away from that, but yeah, the laydown of the Phoenix by Mystic Shroud and that flame strike where everyone just took so much damage, really has brought them back into this game for now at least.
I'm actually really surprised, considering how much melee, how much frontline we have, that we did not see the level 7 talent Burned Flesh for Kael'thas for that percent base damage. Instead, he's going full trait build. He's like, I took trait at 1. I may as well take trait at every level. I'm not quite sure it works that way, but that last fight, it seemed to work out.
Yeah, it did. I'm a little surprised that they didn't go for boss here, but they are going for, like you mentioned earlier, this map control. They're taking all of the camps that they can and just putting pressure into each lane as best as they can. I think, yeah, unfortunately the sappers on their side only just help them get this the tower back.
And if they do manage to secure bottom, Abathur can double soak. Abathur can pressure top with his Locust. He can either hat or body soak mid relatively safely. So they're going to be in a position 20 versus 20 now. They have a lot of potential. We are going to see Master of Flame actually has to pick up 4 Kael'thas at level 20, not going for that increased range, that increased safety on Flame Strike. He's just like, they'll keep spreading Chain Bomb. That seems reasonable. They can bunker out of it, of course. Double Hat will essentially double Abathur's healing. We are going to see the improved Army of the Dead the triple trap.
Geeks at Gank, though, Geeks at Gank grabbed the boss, though, here, so they only need one more shot to secure this game for them.
Yeah, again, Trollin Blizz, I think, they have a better composition, but they're so far behind now. They can't make any mistakes. And the holy ground for the isolation.
That's it.
Bacon's gonna be able to channel. Trollin Blizz did not respond in time. They really needed to go as soon as possible, and that'll be GG. Geeks of Gank get their revenge on Trollin Blizz. I wonder if there was a side bet this time.
Yeah, we'll have to find out from the winning team if there was another side bet put up here, but. Wow, that was a really fun match because it looked like Geeks of Gank were starting to run away with that game, and then that big fight in the mid with the double flame strike and the Phoenix just we were speechless because it was just we didn't expect that much damage to be put out by Kael'thas.
Certainly not with that build, but I mean, when you all stack and Chain Bomb spreads more than once, like you get a lot of free damage.
Hey,
to be right back. Hey,
welcome.
What's going on?
We have both captains on.
So Bacon, we had a question. Was there another side bet in this game?
No, there was not.
No confidence. So we are joined by Bacon, captain of Geeks Ganks, and Bags, captain of Trollin Blizz. How do you guys feel about that game? The no supports rule set.
I feel like people die pretty quickly in the no support comp. And despite our best efforts to kind of build some hybrids around it, it didn't quite work out like we expected.
We were talking about that. We were a little surprised, that Zarya was alone so much. Because Zarya loses a third of her kit and half of her damage when she's by herself.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm a solo laner by heart, which is why the Dahaka went so well in game 1 and why the Zarya went so poorly in game 2.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes some amount of sense. At least there's a little bit of an explanation. And I'm curious, why didn't Abathur just go full heal build? Because we actually saw Dignitas run solo support Abathur in a professional game, and it was full heal build. Why didn't we see it there?
I think that was Rosai's plan, and then I'm sure I didn't ask him, and I'm not sure, but I'm sure something happened halfway through that game where he decided to abandon that strategy and try something else. So
okay,
I know because it's Towers of Doom and it's a strong map for Abathur to get a lot of value in, that maybe he decided to mix it up. I'm not sure.
Interesting. For you, what was the for both of you actually? What was the standout moment from that game in terms of, oh my God, how do we deal with this?
We kind of got debated because we were like, okay, this is the winning shrine, so let's just go in and finish them off, and we kind of baited ourselves into diving in, and it was like a 5v4, and we were close to 20. We shouldn't have done that, so that was like the one moment we're like scratching our heads, like, why did we even go in there?
I guess for me, when it hit like the started hitting the mid game and we were losing like altar after altar. I'm like, I'm not sure how we're going to turn this one around. I don't know what it's going to take for us to win a team fight here, because we are just dropping like flies despite the amount of sustain we drafted.
Yeah. A lot of our front line, we were surprised you guys didn't go Pyroblast and stuff. There's the time loop that Chromie went. We were expecting that, but a lot of our shot calls was based around, okay, if Kael'thas Pyroblast, we'll get into bunker or Sank. We were really trying to position towards that, but you guys went the more pokey, sustainy Phoenix build.
It's funny you say that. So originally our plan, and I don't think we executed our plan at all, is we were just like, all right, we're gonna draft some frontliners and some sustain, and we're just gonna poke, and that's our goal. We're gonna poke until they're low, and then we'll engage. And we didn't do that at all, because I think we'll have to keep that in mind going forward. Is we have kind of like an aggressive team. That's what worked for us last game, and then we tried to do that again this game, but without an aggressive comp. So,
and that is always a problem. If you have a plan and then don't actually execute your plan, even though you drafted for your plan, you're gonna be in an awkward situation. It happens to the best of us. Literally happens to pro teams every week in HGC. So, what are you gonna do? You have any DJ Tyrant? Do you have any questions for them?
I guess, Bacon, what was the thought process behind the Li Ming build? I know you weren't playing Li Ming, but I was surprised. We were surprised that it wasn't orb build based on the lack of supports and the really aggressive Blink build.
It's Sleepy Gary's most comfortable build, so that our thought process is half the team can flex really well, and the other half are good at the heroes they're good at. And we're kind of working within that limitation. And Li Ming's, Sleepy Gary's Li Ming is actually pretty good. And if he thinks Calamity works out for him, I mean, with the, Kael'thas and Chromie reset potential that's there, I don't mind it too much.
That's fair. Well, thank you both for the interview. Do you guys have any shout outs?
Listen to the Gang Push Squad podcast. Do it.
There you go.
Just a big shout out to everyone that's watching right now. I really appreciate it.
All right,
this is a lot of fun. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this is a blast.
You guys casting.
I'm not doing anything. I just showed up to cast. shout out to Liquid and Linus for actually putting in all the work. Daz as well. I'm just casting the games. This is the easy part. This is the fun part. The organizers deserve all the credit.
I've had a peek behind the curtain of their organizing, and I got to tell you, it's a buttload of work. Props to them.
Mm-hmm. Most
For
definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, post-interview, we will be having our next giveaway. We have a Mecha Tyrael skin and something else. Let me just scroll here. And a Mecha Rhaegar skin giveaway. It's Scott Bacon OP hashtag in chat. So that's hashtag Scott Bacon OP, no spaces. And I agree. Scott Bacon definitely proved they were OP that game.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a 5-minute break.
Okay. Yeah, because I get to play again, so I'll be in the next game.
All right, well, we'll be back in 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Thank you so much for watching. Stick around, and thank you, DJ Tyrant, for casting. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.